Well, here I am, married to my beloved Harry. And I have some bullies and a very kind, though eccentric lady for my good fortune. I know that it sounds too good to be true, but it's true. My name was Anthony Gerald Denozo. Now, I am Antonia Geraldine Kissinger, wife of Hector Hammond Kissinger. I look like a red-headed Olsen twin, and my sparkling blue eyes have won me my share of beauty contests. Hector is an olive-skinned Adonis with wavy black hair and dark, brown eyes. He loves tinkering with his hands, thanks to watching MacGyver. And because of his hero, runs Hector's Fix-It shop where he has fun repairing obsolete and antique appliances, electronics, furniture and motors. He was adopted by Hector Hammond Kissinger and Renee Louise Kissinger when their maid, his mother, Mary Ruth Benjamin, died in childbirth. She'd gone to a party where she was given the date rape drug during her senior year in high school. Since she was an orphan herself, she had no one to turn to. When the Kissingers heard of her plight, they took her in and sent her to college to earn her master's degree in nursing. To show her appreciation, she became their maid and wore the traditional uniform while home. They at first were reluctant, but when she told them that it was her way of honoring her parents who themselves had died so that she could live, they relented. During the day, she wore the uniform until that day's work was done to her satisfaction, then she'd change into her casual clothes and let herself be the daughter her adoptive parents wanted for her to be. There were 4 days though when she dressed in black to honor her birth parents and spend the day in the local Jews for Jesus Faith Center, paying homage to her Jewish heritage which pleased the Kissingers. The Kissingers became devout members of the Jews for Jesus after meeting the Benjamins and feel that they are blessed to have met their best friends who introduced them to their faith. John Mark and Hannah Judith Benjamin had met the Kissingers in college and became fast friends. The Benjamins wanted the Kissingers to be godparents for their child when Hannah became pregnant, but died in a house fire before they could ask. It was only after the Kissingers had fostered Mary that they learned the truth. Since Renee was barren, they wanted to adopt their goddaughter and tell her of her birth parents so that she'd know how much she was loved. Growing up, I knew that I was loved because my parents accepted me when I told them that I was a girl. They let me start being a girl and wear the girls' uniform at Mayfield Grammar School. Mayfield Grammar School put on the play Peter Pan and I got to be the main character. The green tunic and matching tights made me look like a girl with my shoulder-length red hair and I found that I liked it. I wore the costume to bed every night because Mama had bought me several tunics and tights knowing how much fun that I had when I wore my superhero costumes. But even though Mama got me the tights and made my costumes so that they were form-fitting, I never saw the girl in me until Peter Pan. There were female versions of the male heroes who wore the same basic costume, but I knew that they were girls. Peter Pan was a boy who let me find the girl within. When I started to go to Mayfield Grammar School as a girl, everybody saw me as a girl since I had been wearing shorts. Now I could wear the skirts and dresses. I met Hector when his family moved in across the street into the old brick building that had seen better days. My parents let them move in with us and stored their belongings in our basement until they'd restored their property. It had been a small warehouse, service station and restaurant in its past, so it was full of old equipment that either needed cleaning, repairing or replacing, depending on the equipment's condition. But they saw it as a treasure trove for their tinkering hobby and actually sold the old stuff to antique dealers and purchased new furniture and paneling to remodel it into a green-friendly home. There was a garage on one end for 3 cars with a generous repair bay under it that was separated by a hydraulic lift that let them park a car safely atop another or use it as free space. Hector and I took them all over as our clubhouse and kept our collection of memorabilia here as well as a movie theater for our forays into horror, kung fu, and sci-fi. The kitchen was next with its modern appliances and pantry stock full of tins full of goodies for afternoon snacks. The dining room was set up to seat both of our families, too. Then there were the 2 bathrooms next to the den and living room with a stairway leading up to the 4 bedrooms with individual bathrooms atop. Growing up with Hector helped me to find a best friend who saw the girl in me before I did. He convinced me to try out for Peter Pan, figuring that due to my small size, I'd be Wendy or Tinkerbell. He laughed with me when I got to be Peter Pan and fell in love with me when I discovered the girl in me. I had just graduated from Mayfield High School and was at Southland Park when I heard those dreadful goons coming after me to pay me back for embarrassing them. Chad and Boyce, Idaho thought that they were the best tennis players, but I soundly thrashed them both, which they hated, being macho jerks. By the time I graduated, I was ready for my SRS in Sweden. "Hey, there's the bitch that dissed you in tennis," yelled Chad. "Let's show her how we feel," sneered Boyce. I took off running as fast as I could in my tennis whites through the parking lot to get to my scooter. I turned a corner, finding myself facing the closed gate. But Joe was on duty, and he'd let me through. "Open up, Joe!" On the double. "What's wrong?" Chad and Boyce. "Those 2, eh?" The gate opened, thanks. As I started up my scooter, I saw them run into the fence and get shocked when Joe turned on the juice. Chad and Boyce were infamous for boasting of their sports prowess and their retaliation whenever anybody beat them. Oh, they were very good, but they had a blind spot that kept them from seeing when they needed to admit defeat. I drove onto my pad that I'd moved into after my parents had passed on, last month. They were both past retirement age and suffered from cancer that finally took them. Unfortunately, the insurance did not cover their medical bills, so I had to sell the place and move into an efficiency apartment. The main room served as my living/bedroom room with a sofa bed, recliner, desk, and entertainment center with end tables holding my crochet and knitting supplies and bookshelves, my library of books, CDs, and mini models of starships. I love to crochet, knit, and sew my own clothes. I was also an avid fan of sci-fi shows. I had models of most any ship seen in a movie or show as well as costumes from the shows. Growing up, Mama taught me my domestic skills while Daddy taught me all about house and car maintenance, so that I knew how to handle things like Annie Camden from Seventh Heaven. The kitchen/pantry on the left held my cooking needs and a breakfast bar where I ate most of my meals, with my bathroom and closet on the right where I kept my extensive collection of costumes, my wardrobe in the closet on the left. I showered and chose to wear a tan tunic dress with matching lingerie and leggings and ballet flats, since all that I wanted to do was chill out and watch the latest Burn Notice. Watching Michael Weston, Fiona, and Sam help out their clients like the A-Team did reminded me of when me and my parents used to either go to the junkyard and find a junker to restore or furniture left on the side of the road. We'd restore them and donate them to Fenway United Methodist Church, where it'd be auctioned off or given to a needy family. What I did not know was that I was about to regain much of what I had lost. I heard a knock on my door. "Tony, you home?" "That you, Miss Marple?" "Yes, sweetie. I have the most wonderful news for you." I pressed the button that opened the automatic door. "Come in." She shook her head as she came in. "Simply amazing what that Harry of yours does for you. First door that I've seen that you can control from a remote," she mused as she sat down. "Harry just installed the gadget here that Daddy made to keep the old place safe for us. Heck, my AMC Gremlin has more options built in than a stretch limo. Always wondered why you drive that red refugee from the junkyard," she teased. "I will have you know that Rusty gets her name from her color, not from decay," I giggled. "Okay, enough with the fun. I have wonderful news that could make your transition easier as well as restore the family fortune." I got up and hugged her, careful to not wrinkle her blazer. "Of all the women that I know and love, you're the only one who is willing to help me become a woman." She generally wore silk skirt suits with matching accessories. Today, she was wearing charcoal gray with cream. Well now, there's an eccentric lady who wants to give her fortune to a barren woman who's willing to become a mother and give birth naturally. Wow. She played a video showing white-haired granny propped up in bed. My name is Dora Langstrom. I have no family to leave my fortune to as I am an orphan who never married. To choose my heir must be a barren woman willing to allow nanites to modify their T-cells into growing ovaries and sculpting their body for childbirth. I include any man willing to apply as well. All participants will share equally in my estate worth over $1 billion. Where do I sign up? She passed me a contract, right here. Once you've signed, I'll take you to the clinic for the procedure. What? Girl, before I brought you this news, I checked with Gabby, your gynecologist, and Maggie, your counselor, to see if you were ready. They both said yes. Gotta tell Harry. Girl, that hunk of burning love is waiting for you at the clinic. You've been a great friend, even if you've teased me just now. But that's how we show that we love each other, I sighed. I know, girl. That's why I love our teasing each other. Thanks to Dora Langstrom, I left the clinic a complete woman, carrying Harry's child and me a month later. Harry and I got married in the chapel on my parents' estate that I bought back and placed the remainder of the fortune into a portfolio guaranteed to never go bankrupt with all of the investments that Harry developed to help me help other girls like me.